I sold all my furniture for Fiendsmiths and now they're useless. I've lost my negation, my board, my career, my home. Forbidden. All combo players.
After all these years, finally, Snake Eye has banned them all. I hope this will be an interesting discussion about game design, what Konami's been doing, and why, and how that plays out. This was a lot of hype for a bad list. We know it's a bad list because it does the same as the previous list, which made the top deck even more dominant, even though a ban list is supposed to balance a game. Konami keeps hitting generic tools as an excuse to delay hitting the actual problematic cards, the shiny new power creep they're selling. As we saw with tier limits and the Ishizu retrains, this does not work, because the top deck does not actually need those generic tools. Ban one and they simply jump to the next option. Meanwhile, the decks which can't are screwed. And when finally the overpowered deck does get hit directly, the casualties are not reversed until years after the actual problem has passed. Of course, cards don't get banned until immediately after Konami sells their reprints, a clear pattern which has broken our trust that any of Konami's products is a good purchase. These cards were popular because for many decks, these were the only counters to Primal. We had to use them. Then along came Snake Eye, which exploited these cards by summoning them too quickly, too consistently, and too easily. These bans do hurt Snake Eye, but they also hurt many more decks much harder. Now these other decks can only pray that their opponent doesn't draw Primal. As for the Snake Eyes themselves, well, they're getting their own Primal counter in a month anyway, so these other decks get butchered for nothing. The card pool has been built around the existence of generic negation. Now that they're gone, there's a gap in the game's design. It's like when Heavy Storm was first banned. Stall decks took over because most themes were designed assuming Heavy Storm would cover their trap removal. Heavy was overpowered, but the game had been balanced around it. It's not like all non-control decks are dead though. If you're willing to open up your wallet, you may be able to get your protection from Fiendsmith, SP, or Horus. So what we really have here is a culling, eliminating decks which relied on these three cards because they had not been given protection of their own, none of which, I don't think, were dominating tournaments anyway, so effectively this is just pushing out older decks faster, speeding up the life cycle of the game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is turned into a late-stage gacha game. These obstacles invalidate all of your existing characters. Please buy the new ones with the built-in counters. Yu-Gi-Oh!'s most infamous culling was Master Rule 4. Your fun Synchro deck was killed off, but the incoming Link decks were already stronger anyway. Yu-Gi-Oh! Lost a lot of players with this change. It's been losing players again, yet Konami is doubling down. It's not just that budget decks are being hit so Snake Eye can be tier 0 for a year, or that Snake Eye is still getting even stronger. It's that we have been in a tier 0 environment for nearly every month of the past 2 years, in between being full of turn-skipping combos, and before that it was a year of Floodgates and Crystron. And you can get semantic about whether Kashtira performed highly enough to qualify as tier 0, but what matters is that the entire game revolved around that deck. Old decks do need to be power crept. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a commercial product. It needs to make profits, or Konami can't make new cards, we don't get any more tournaments, and that would stink. Konami needs to make money. We should want Konami to make money. But this isn't sustainable. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already losing money for many hobby stores. Between power creep and mega pack reprints, hardly any products retain their value. What is sustainable is alternate formats, like what's kept Magic the Gathering around for so long. But Konami has little interest in those. Speed Duel was denied proper advertising and a full design team. Nobody plays Speed Duel, but it is literally the most fun I have ever had playing Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like Edison, but good. As long as you don't play it competitively, where it's only ever OTKs or macro stun, because again, Konami doesn't care about it. Edison just gets random reprints and random products. There are no GOAT format products. Master Duel still has no retro formats after 3 years. It was Yu-Gi-Oh!'s biggest opportunity ever, and they squandered it by making nostalgic newbies play against full-power Drytron. They could make more money off merchandise if they would make more than like 2 sleeves a year of such terrible quality that they will literally fall apart after a couple of matches. On very rare occasions, they'll make a plush that'll be like Japan exclusive short run. Nope, all we got are some reprint products so worthless we wonder whether Konami actually wants to make money at all. Can you believe Konami was improving communication by announcing this list for late August, which became the very last day of August, revealed only in the description of a Master Duel stream, and only for this list to be a continuation of the last disaster. Hitting a few problems, awesome, but leaving the top deck at the top and pushing everything else down. At a time when Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are more tired than ever, this list was more of the same. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been a late-stage gacha for a while now. What's scary is that that is clearly the intention. Yes, I am butthurt about my combo decks, thanks for noticing! But I do still have ways to make my crazy crystal beasts work. Stay tuned, I still have way too many Yu-Gi-Oh videos to make. In the meantime, do not allow a couple of bad ban lists or a frustrating official simulator to prevent you from enjoying this amazing game with your friends. Remember, the only way to win at this game is to have fun, and if you are having fun, then you are winning no matter what your life points are at. Long story short, play Speed Duel, and Konami, sponsor me. I'll also fix the ban list for you. Just limit Macro and Benton and get rid of Time Stream.